So we're going to talk a little more about intercepts. So there are y-intercepts and x-intercepts. And like I said, for quadratic functions, there's always going to be a y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, you find f of 0. That will equal the y-intercept. Now they're probably going to list this as an ordered pair. So it's going to be the ordered pair 0, comma, and then whatever that turns out to be when you evaluate the function at 0. That'll get you the y-intercept. The x-intercepts, which are sometimes called the zeros or the roots of the function, that you do by setting the function equal to 0, okay? And then you're going to get one of three situations. You could have, a parabola that goes something like this, or, an upside down one that goes like this, and there are two, well, I have two parabolas here, but there are two x-intercepts in those cases. You could have a parabola that's like not going to intersect the x-axis. It could look like that, or it could look like that. And in these cases, there are no x-intercepts. Or you could have a unique case. Well, I don't know how unique it is, but you could have the parabola just sitting on the x-axis. And in that case, you're going to get one x-intercept. And then you could also have it if the parabola were upside down, it would look something like that. You'd have one x-intercept. Okay? So those are the different possibilities of what can occur. So now we have an example. Find the y and x-intercepts of the quadratic. So we'll find the y-intercept first. So we're going to find f of 0, which is going to be 3 times 0 squared, plus 5 times 0. You really don't have to write all this out, but you could. Anyway, you're going to get negative 2. So the y-intercept is, you can only have one y-intercept at the most, okay? 0, negative 2. Because if you had two y-intercepts, then it wouldn't be a function. Okay. So now we're going to find the x-intercepts. So to do that, we take the 3x squared plus 5x minus 2 and set it equal to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation that we want to solve. So if it factors, I would just factor it. And I believe this one's going to factor. So 3x, pull out all my factoring skills. And, if you can't factor it, you can use the quadratic formula. It's probably going to be a little longer that way. You could complete the square. That's probably going to be a little more complicated in this case than using the quadratic formula. But those are your choices of what you could do. Okay, so just checking, this is a 6x, this is a minus 1x, and that gets me the middle term, 5x, and the negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, and 3x times x is x squared. Okay, so it all works out, and this is how it factors. So using the zero product principle, either 3x minus 1 equals 0, that gets you x equals 1/3, or x plus 2 equals 0, and that gets you x equals negative 2. So there are two x-intercepts. One's at 1/3 0, and the other is at negative 2 0. Okay, so you have two x-intercepts in this case and a y-intercept, and that gives you quite a bit of information if you wanted to graph it or something.